They were such a nice young couple. Peaceful, law-abiding, tax-paying Muslim Americans, the kind everyone is so proud of. And then they started murdering. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr and in the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524. Welcome back, my friends. Item from NBC News. A couple who died in a hail of bullets after allegedly killing 14 people during a Christmas party at a state-run center for people with developmental disabilities left their 6-month-old daughter with her grandmother before the onslaught. U.S.-born Syed Rizwan Farouk, 28, and wife Tashfeen Malik, 27, were killed in a shootout with police more than 4 hours after the rampage at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California on Wednesday. Related item. This is a posting from Facebook. I'll read it straight. Quote, Syed Farouk was the living American dream. His government job paid him more than $70,000 a year, including benefits. He was allowed to leave work in the middle of the day for prayer. He was allowed a month off with pay to visit Saudi Arabia earlier this year. He and his wife were given a baby shower by their co-workers, the same co-workers he shot and killed during a holiday party in San Bernardino. Even more would have died if the pipe bomb he brought with him had gone off. If this isn't radical Islamic terrorism, what is it? Related item from PamelaGeller.com. Devout Muslim Syed Rizwan Farouk and his religious wife Tashfeen Malik opened fire on a Christmas party, firing 65 to 75 rounds, resulting in a bloodbath. With 14 people dead, 21 more wounded, people were gunned down and shot while they hid beneath desks. Officials confirmed at a press conference today that Farouk had traveled abroad extensively in 2014, including Pakistan and Saudi Arabia in the spring. His wife Malik had entered the country on a K-1 visa, which is a non-immigrant visa for people engaged to U.S. citizens, and traveled on a Pakistani passport. At a press conference in San Bernardino, police appeared to rule out workplace violence as a motive. They confirmed the guns were purchased legally, though only the handguns were purchased by Farouk. The vehicle used was rented through yesterday and therefore had Utah license plates. Law enforcement will release the names of the victims throughout the day. Police said the home of the two jihadis killed was full of pipe bombs and ammunition, and said most definitely this was extensively pre-planned. NBC News is reporting the suspect left a remote-controlled bomb on the scene of the holiday party, similar to that used by the Tsarnaev brothers in the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. The aim was to kill police and medical personnel. The devices apparently malfunctioned. Related item from the LA Times. As the holiday gathering got underway Wednesday morning, Syed Rizwan Farouk joined dozens of his colleagues from San Bernardino County's Public Health Department. Farouk and inspectors seemed quiet during the early hours of the event, then vanished just as a group photo was about to be taken. Shortly afterwards, gunfire erupted at the Inland Regional Center where the employees filled a conference room. By the end of the day, police had identified Farouk, 28, as a suspect in the massacre and said he was one of 2 people shot to death in a gun battle with officers. The other was 27-year-old Tashfeen Malik, a family member said was Farouk's wife. Co-workers told the Times they were shocked to hear Farouk's name linked to the shooting. 2 who were in the restroom when the bullets began to fly said he was quiet and polite with no obvious grudges. They said Farouk recently traveled to Saudi Arabia and returned with a new wife he'd met online. The couple had a baby and appeared to be living the American dream, said Patrick Bakari, fellow health inspector who shared a cubicle with Farouk. Bakari and Christian Nwadike said Farouk, who worked with them for several years, rarely started a conversation, but the tall, thin young man with the full beard was well-liked and spent much of his time out in the field. They and other colleagues said Farouk was a devout Muslim, but rarely discussed religion at work. He never struck me as a fanatic. He never struck me as suspicious, said Griselda Reisinger, who worked with Farouk before leaving the agency in May. Reisinger said she heard the office recently threw a baby shower for Farouk and that he had taken paternity leave. Later Wednesday night, Farhan Khan, a brother-in-law of Farouk, said he knew the suspect for much of his life and last saw him a week ago. Quote, "I cannot express how sad I am," he said at an Islamic center in Anaheim. "I have no idea why he would do this. I'm in shock that something like this would happen. My condolences." Bakari said he was about to dry his hands in the restroom when bullets ripped into the towel dispenser, sending shrapnel into his face and blood spilling into his eyes. The rounds pocked the walls as he dived for cover onto the floor. He and another man pushed the door closed with their legs and waited for police. Related item from National Review. Read the last paragraphs of this CBS Los Angeles report about the police raid on Saeed Farouk's home. Quote, "A man who's been working in the area said he noticed a half dozen Middle Eastern men in the area in recent weeks, but decided not to report anything since he did not wish to racially profile those people." Stop! All right, folks, I got about a minute left, so I'll make it real short and sweet. 2 points to note here. Number one, if you see something, say something. He saw something and he said nothing because it wouldn't have been politically correct, and God forbid anybody be called an Islamophobe. The other thing is that this Muslim couple, nice people, law-abiding people, had a baby shower, friendly, chatted with people. There's no way that anyone would ever expect them to have been involved in any extremism. All of that means that, yes, Muslims must leave. Muslims must leave. Everybody's jumping up and down screaming about extremist Muslims and violent Muslims. Well, people weren't extremists. They weren't violent. They were a wonderful young couple everybody seemed to like. And then they started murdering people. They'd been building up a cache of weapons, pipe bombs, large numbers of ammunition. They were planning on waging war, but they're a nice couple. These are the Muslims that we like. These are the Muslims who are not violent, not extremists. They're not foaming in the mouth. All they want to be is good Americans, right? Right! 14 people are dead. Because we play games in this country. Good Muslims, bad Muslims. The game we're playing is not acknowledging that Muslims have a holy book that tells them to kill. This proves it. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to HappyHens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At HappyHens.biz, we love HappyHens.biz. Or call us at 303-829-5948. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid that quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Earth herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street, using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit, just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 to 12.
All right, so the question is, what's the biggest threat to our country? Well, that's a hell of a question because there are a lot of threats. I would say brain dead Americans is probably the greatest single threat, but second place is our very own president, Barack Hussein Obama. Donald Trump agrees with me. Here he is talking about how Obama is a threat to our country. Donald Trump.
Mr. Trump, there's a lot I want to ask you, but right away, Congress wants to resell at least 10,000. There are now reports from Investor's Business Daily. It's really 15,000. And now reports are coming out. We don't get to pick these refugees. Apparently, the UN picks them in cooperation with the organization for
And there I will disagree with Donald Trump. Barack Obama knows precisely what he's doing. He's not a stupid man. He knows exactly what he's doing because everything he's doing is weakening America and putting Americans in more danger. It's not an accident. It's not incompetence and it's not naivete. It's political terrorism. It's supporting terrorism. It's supporting his fellow Muslims. And maybe Donald Trump, who's not afraid to say anything, maybe he's afraid to say that. Maybe I'm not. Item from CBS Detroit. More guns, fewer problems. That, at least, is Detroit Police Chief James Craig's view of Detroit and fears about a possible terrorist attack. While cities around the world are on heightened alert following a devastating ISIS attack in Paris, Detroit's police chief says he believes the fear that armed citizens would return fire serves as a deterrent for a potential terrorist attack in the Rust Belt city. Unquote. He's precisely right. An armed citizenry prevents terror attacks, which was why Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton want to take everyone's guns away. Item from Breitbart. Members of the FYF 9/11 or F-YO flag and hashtag Black Lives Matter movements called for the lynching and hanging of white people and cops. They encouraged others on a radio show Tuesday night to, quote, turn the tide and kill white people and cops to send a message about the killing of black people in America, unquote. My friends, that weeping that you hear in the distance, that's Martin Luther King. Item from Reuters. A suburban Chicago school district said on Thursday, that's today, it reached a deal with the U.S. government over locker room access for a transgender student. But the civil rights group representing the student said the agreement fell short of its hopes. Township High School District 211 in Palatine, Illinois, said it will provide changing areas in the girls' locker room for the student, who had not been named, and for other students within 30 days. Stop. Question. Who will be providing the intensive therapy that boy needs? Exactly. In our PC era, no one is going to help this kid get the help he's desperately crying out for. Item from KPHO.com, draw your weapons. That's what Sheriff Joe Arpaio is urging nearly 250,000 Arizona gun owners to do to fight terrorism and mass shooters. On Tuesday, the so-called toughest sheriff in America said he cannot guarantee the public's safety and called on them to take matters into their own hands if necessary. I'm just talking about the areas where you have large crowds and someone pulls out a gun and starts shooting. Maybe somebody with a concealed weapon takes the guy down, Arpaio said. Specifically, Arpaio was looking to the 250,000 Arizonians who carry concealed weapons permits to help keep the peace. But there are some in law enforcement who are calling this a bad idea. Stop. It's not a bad idea. And if you're in law enforcement and you think it's a bad idea, you need to get the hell out of law enforcement. It's a very good idea. Item from Variety. CNN will not give $5 million to charity to ensure Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump appears on the Republican debate set to air on the Time Warner-owned cable news outlet on December 15th, the network's top executive said Thursday. No, said CNN Worldwide President Jeff Zucker, responding to a question about a demand from Trump that CNN donate $5 million to charity or face the chance the candidate might boycott the event. We do not pay candidates to appear on the network, he said. He made his comments at an event held at the Paley Center for Media as part of a wide-ranging interview, unquote. My friends, the networks make a ton of money by putting Donald Trump on the air. All Donald Trump is asking is $5 million for veterans, which is desperately needed because under Barack Obama, veterans have been treated like crap and are in desperate need of help. So Donald Trump is the only candidate to step forward and try and get help for the veterans, and CNN says no. Item from AspenTimes.com. A Saudi Arabian man allegedly cursed an Aspen taxi driver and exposed himself to the man before spilling cocaine on him during a ride to St. Regis Hotel last weekend, according to court documents. Majed Al-Mahad, 23, later admitted he was intoxicated and told Aspen police officers he wanted to go extreme while in Aspen, according to an affidavit filed in district court on Friday. The 60-year-old driver for High Mountain Taxi told police that Al-Mahad, whose booking sheet lists him as a student in Los Angeles, offered him cocaine, quote, a number of times on the ride early Friday morning to the St. Regis, but the driver refused, the affidavit states. The driver stated that this angered Al-Mahad, according to the affidavit written by an Aspen police officer. The driver said Al-Mahad used vulgar language and derogatory racial terms and blanking American while in the vehicle. The taxi driver also said Al-Mahad, quote, exposed his genitals to him, unquote, and opened the small baggie of cocaine and spilled it on him, the affidavit states, unquote. My friends, this Muslim didn't kill anybody. He's one of the moderate Muslims that Americans love so much, right?
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified. Hey, Howard.
Yeah, I'm here. No, what? Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
5948. Clayton Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom catered capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, this was he of whom I said, he who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network. This is the uniform people who really ask everyone to get involved in our community this holiday season. Whether it's a toy for a needy child, care package for military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference and directly affect someone else's life. This message is from Census, the uniform people in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Being one of the most admired outsourcing companies in America. Census.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Howard Riell here. It's Thursday, last day of the broadcast week. Another endorsement for Donald Trump. This one came yesterday at a rally in Virginia. Several black pastors got together and officially endorsed Trump. Here's what it sounded like.
People here, the most powerful people there are.
All right, my friends, let me interrupt the pastor for a second. He just used an obscenity in the ears of liberals. Liberals don't ever want to hear about people helping themselves. Liberals certainly don't want to hear about black Americans helping themselves. Liberals think black Americans can't do anything on their own and need the government's help. Conservatives know that everybody can succeed on his or her own if given the chance. And so that's why this pastor is 1,000% right. Donald Trump and the Republicans in general, Donald Trump will enable all Americans to help themselves. That's the hand up, as opposed to the Democrats who only want to give a hand out. Now we'll continue.
Is that I'm glad. I personally believe that this is a movement. It's a movement. I believe that we're in a situation now where this country called America is going to come back and be great again.
My friends, there it is. The choice is very, very simple, startlingly simple. Let's move on. Item from don'tcomply.com, Dateline, Mecosta County, Michigan. Keith Wood was arrested and charged with felony obstruction of justice with a misdemeanor jury tampering charge thrown in as well. His crime? Handing out pieces of paper to anyone who wanted one. The flyers were simply to educate the public on their jury rights that the justice system makes unaware to the people they serve. Dave Kalman, Mr. Wood's attorney, told Fox 17 these charges are, quote, outrageous. Wood posted the ridiculous $150,000 bond that was set last Tuesday. Obstruction of justice is a felony worth 5 years locked up in the cold cage and around $10,000 of your income to be forfeited to the state. And when you use your right to free speech to educate potential jurors about their rights, you get slapped with a misdemeanor worth another year and $1,000 more of your money stolen from you. Wood said, when the judge told me the bond again, I was speechless. A $150,000 bond for handing out a piece of paper on the public sidewalk? Speechless, unquote. The Fully Informed Jury Association, educational flyers that Wood was passing out, simply explained the right of the jurors to use their conscience and stick to what is right. Jury nullification is when a jury acquits a defendant because the law is unjust, unconstitutional, or infringes on a person's human rights. The justice system has kept this age-old thorn in their side under wraps for decades, but it's still implied. Kalman said with emotion, quote, it's implied, it's not overt. This is more overt, and I understand why the judge doesn't like it, okay? But isn't that part of free speech? You allow speech you don't like. It's free speech, for goodness sake. The judge directly ordered him to be arrested for jury tampering, for tampering with a jury that didn't exist. Now wrap your head around that, unquote. Well, folks, I can wrap my head around that. We've got a bunch of idiot judges who play politics and are drunk on their own power. Judges like that need to be removed from the bench. Item from the Daily Caller, Dateline, Manassas, Virginia. During a packed Wednesday night rally only a few miles outside of Washington, D.C., Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump suggested that if he were elected president, he might be willing to use executive orders to, quote, unsign policies enacted by President Obama. In response to an audience member's question on what President Trump would do in his first days in office, the real estate mogul said he would like to, quote, knock the hell out of Obama's signature legislation. In the first 100 days, we're going to knock the hell out of Obamacare, Trump declared to his audience's approval. You know, the great thing about executive orders is that I don't have to go back to Congress. I just sit down and I will be unsigning many, maybe not all. Maybe there's a couple of good ones. I don't know. I doubt it, unquote. Item from KTXL, Dateline, Sacramento, California. Every day is a learning experience when you're just 4 years old. Tomahawk Hendren is a self-proclaimed outdoor guy, but his explorations inside his gated Sacramento apartment complex have taught his mom a hard lesson about the law. He was outside and a neighbor called the cops on us, said Tomahawk's mother, Sonia Hendren. Sonia Hendren was arrested for felony child endangerment and neglect and had Tomahawk taken away. The alleged crime was letting him roam on a playground 120 feet from their front door. We have a CPS, Child Protective Services case now, and every time he's not on my visual sight, we're in violation, Hendren said. Unquote. My friends, Sonia Hendren is a knucklehead. She has no business putting a 4-year-old out by himself. That said, stupidity is not punishable by incarceration, at least not in America, and thank God for me that it's not. Should the police get involved? No. Should the neighbor simply have gone to Sonia Hendren and told her she's an idiot? Yes. We'll be back. All right, guys, I'm done for the week. After you're through watching this video, post it everywhere. Share it with everybody. Get the word out. Get active. Don't be one of those people, and I know them myself. When the election comes, I got too many things. I'm not going to have a chance to run to the polling station. Get to the polling station. Vote for whoever the Republican candidate is, because I'll tell you, if Hillary Clinton becomes president, we are done. Hasta luego.